Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am apologizing for my absence only because it was my son's spring break and then we just had like 50 million appointments. My daughter has to get tubes put in her ears, so we've just had a lot of stuff prepping for that this week because it is April 12th. Hopefully it'll help with some of her ear infection issues, and she has had some reactions and to amoxicillin, and then she's allergic to the backup medicine for amoxicillin, so seemed like this was the best scenario. But anyways, the reason we're here today is I have been kind of giving in to my inner critic voice lately, and really what I wanted to do was return to the basics. So what I find when I am having my inner critic voice is getting very loud in my head, and I'm trying to pressure myself with the word should, like I should be creating more art. Everything I put on my page should be original, should be made by me. You know, I get really stuck into this mindset that tells me that I'm not doing enough and what I'm putting out there isn't good enough. And I don't want to ever turn my art into something that's purely about production, especially for other people. So I am going to return to my daily creative journaling practice so that I can reconnect with what I was trying to accomplish on the page when I first started journaling. And I think that bringing you guys along for that will be really fun. I also noticed that I've mainly used these videos for art journaling, and while I enjoy art journaling, it's number one, it's not something I have as much time for, but also number two, just creative journaling, like my traveler's notebook and my Moleskine are really like the foundations of my practice, and I really want to share more of that with you guys and take you more along in that side of my practice. Also, in relation to my Patreon, it's mainly like tarot readings and accompanied by journal prompts with some creative prompts mixed in. The higher tier gets personalized readings for the new moon in addition to the collective readings, but all of them come with journal prompts, and there are creative challenges and exercises to do and ways to connect in your journaling practice on a day-to-day basis, and a way to practice self-inquiry. And that has been what has been most potent for me. And so I pulled out, we're going to go about that today. So I pulled out some little bits and bobs here that I have. I will try to tell you where I got it as I pull it out. I also have some stamps that I'm going to be trying to use. I don't use stamps as often as I would like. I do want to shout out these two here. It's like a little rainbow symbol, and then this says this page is a portal. These are from Journal as Alter, who is actually one of the first journaling accounts that I followed on Instagram, and they have an intro to creative journaling workshop video, like it's an online workshop that you can access, I believe, at any time, and I highly recommend that. It really helped me deal with some of the limiting beliefs I had in regards to my journaling practice. I think this is Pipsticks, and I believe this is just from like a stamping kit. And then I have this, I think they're like acrylic block stamps. You'll see it when I put it on the page, but it's KittenChops Illustration. I wanted to shout out those first because in case I forget to later or I don't end up using them, hopefully I will. Stamping is one of my favorite things. I just don't get to use it as often as I would like. So I went ahead this morning when I had time after my morning pages, and I watercolored some pages to get them ready. And I chose yellow because I live in the Midwest and we are predicted to have some pretty heavy storms today. I actually posted in my Instagram stories that it feels like tornado weather. It 100% feels like tornado weather. I'm probably going to be getting my daughter from her preschool early because I don't want to be driving in the midst of like when everything gets super crazy. So I got this, and I believe this was from a mail exchange, and I don't remember specifically who it was from. But I am going to cut it out, and it's something, I think Frida Kahlo, not an artist that I was initially like super familiar with, that I've been trying to dive into artist work, that I guess maybe I thought I knew, but I didn't really know. And so kind of just trying to go and look at things that are like, and learn about things that are outside of like the scope of what I might normally look at. I have this, I think this is like a scrap that's from a Bella Grace magazine. Anyways, I've just been trying to expand like what I'm bringing into my, like, especially like my appreciation of art, and like what I engage in like learning wise. I've just been trying to go out of my, go out of the zone that I normally stay in and like learn about things that have kind of always been on my to learn to study list, and just get to know things a bit more. So I mentioned that we've had a lot of like hectic days. I think it's been like almost 2 weeks since I've actually posted a YouTube video. First was spring break, and when my son is home from school, recording is not really an option for me at that point. So, you know, first we had that, and then we had, I had a doctor's appointment, and my daughter had her physical appointment, and then my son actually had transportation day where they had different parents bring in different like types of bigger vehicles, like, well, police cars and tractors and things like that, so that the kids could interact with and learn about the vehicles. And my son is very much into tractors, trucks, and especially police cars. So he had a lot of fun with that, but it kind of just, the schedule was different, and we are definitely a family of neurodivergent folk, and we thrive on routine. And so I think I feel it more than anyone else when the routine is off, because I help everyone else with their routine. I think this sticker is from Pocket Journal Pam. Like a little small sticker pack that I got from them. So I just find myself really struggling when that routine falls through. And I also end up getting really snippy. My inner critic gets loud. I end up like thinking a lot. I'm in my head a lot. So I'm overthinking a lot and like trying to plan things that I want to do, and then things don't turn out the way that I want them to in my head. And then I start getting even more like negative with myself. And self-inquiry, as a sober person, as a journaler, as a spiritual person, self-inquiry is one of the more powerful practices that I engage in. And something I do in my Patreon is that I share some of the like questions that I'm asking myself for a certain week if I'm engaging in that practice. I just posted a bonus journal spread in my Patreon today and shared some questions that I was looking at. This is a playing card from a Studio Ghibli movie. I think it's Princess Mononoke. And this is the spirit of the forest. And that was always a really cool concept for me. I think I'm believing like more than the way that I engage in different spiritual practices and mythologies, and the way I like to learn about all of these things. I am first and foremost an animist and believe in the sanctity and the sacredness of everything. Anyways, this is just beautiful, and so I pulled that playing card out. I normally, when I have Etsy orders, I include one of these Studio Ghibli playing cards as a freebie. because I think they're really fun. Anyways, that was like a side note. But anyway, self-inquiry. It's been a really big practice for me, and it's one that I share a lot in my Patreon community, because if I find myself feeling disconnected from my creative practice, feeling disconnected from my body, or really engaging in negative self-talk, I find that listing questions and then coming back and reflecting on those, sometimes that's the best way to get me to open up about something. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when it comes to like a more difficult topic or something that I'm like really resisting writing about and journaling about, I have a hard time getting started. So when I do a journal spread and I like list out questions, or I just start asking myself things that maybe my inner critic is asking me, but you know, maybe it's something that I need to look at or engage in, but I need to do so in like a mindful way. Mindfulness is another powerful practice that I try to return to. Specifically, I've read some books by Thich Nhat Hanh that have been very powerful in helping me like engage more in my life as an observer, as opposed to just reacting to the feelings and stimulus around me. And so these are just some techniques that I've been using to help me in my day-to-day life. This is just a little teacup sticker. I'm doing this all very intuitively. I pulled out things beforehand as I found them because I was kind of cleaning up my desk area, but there's definitely no rhyme or reason to any of this. It's just stuff that I saw that made me kind of happy, and I was like, yeah, I'll throw that in there. So this is a sheet that I got from a D-stash from Megan and the Moon. It says Fat Factory on here. If you want to go check them out. But look at this. It's like a little cozy, like cake book nook type situation. I don't know, but it's adorable and it looks like a place I'd like to hang out. So it's going on my page. Then I think this is a great time to use my This Page is a Portal stamp. I really enjoy this stamp in particular because, especially when I'm journaling in relation to my mental health, it helps me remember that like I am in control of my mind. You know, I have bipolar disorder, I have ADHD, and while my mind does run away from me sometimes, I can always come back to a safe space like my journal, and I can go through the portal and engage in things that make me happy, that calm me down, that reconnect me with my mind and my body, so that I can go about my daily life in a safe and productive way. Productive in the sense that I'm taking care of myself, not productive for capitalism. I should be clear about that. This is just a Hello Kitty sticker that I got, I think, in a zine trade. So another thing is that my Etsy is currently 33% off, I believe, until April 9th, which I think is Easter. I'm trying to get a couple more trash journals to put in there at 33% off for you guys, and I can just price them lower if it's after the sale is over. But I do have a few other goodies, and that also includes personalized readings, tarot collages, things like that. And again, even if it's 33% off and it still feels like that's not accessible, but it's something that you are interested in, you can always message me on Instagram. I'm always down for trades, or we can work something out. I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to engage if they want to. This is the little like crayon pen situation that was in my Zen Pop box that I unboxed for you guys. And I've been curious about it. well, I think it's a little light probably for this watercolored page, but it kind of goes on like a crayon. I wonder, it's interesting. It feels like the whole thing is the crayon though, which is, it makes it feel weird holding it. I just wanted to test it out and it felt like this would be a good way to test it out. So I've got a little yarn sticker here, which I love. Kind of making me think that I'm doing like a coziness spread, which it's a rainy day, or it's going to be a rainy day here where I am. So it's probably like a good thing to be focused on, because other than picking up Eloise, my daughter, I will be home mostly. I just hit the camera with my head. Sorry if that shook. Okay, I'm not very good at, part of the reason I don't stamp as much as I would like to is because I'm not very good at doing it straight and not shaking or whatever. But that seemed to turn out okay. I also, KittenChops Illustration is their stamps and stickers. They have a lot of, they have a tarot deck that I absolutely would love to get at some point. I just have not had a chance to yet. I'm actually trying to destash a lot of stuff right now because I get overwhelmed with too much clutter, and I'm getting rid of some decks right now. So it feels like I shouldn't be buying decks if I'm trying to unload some decks. But it has been on my wish list for a while. I am just looking for some more bits and bobs because I've still got some space left. Not that I have to fill out the space, but it would be fun to try to use stuff. I don't know if this is gonna work. Maybe I'll just use the scraps. I'll just use the scraps. This is like a tea-dyed paper from a scrap pack I got from Outlet PDX on Instagram. And I think maybe some more stamping would be fun. So I don't know if you guys do check out my Substack, but I wrote an essay last week about an abandoned barn that I see every day on my way to take my daughter to her daycare, pre-K, whatever you want to call it. And I went there and I actually took a picture of it one day when I drove past it. Like, I pulled over, obviously, but I took a picture of it because it's just so lovely, and I was doing that painting of it, and I wanted to kind of like memorialize that a little bit. And then literally the next day I drove past and I saw people walking out and it started smoking. Maybe it's the fact that we had like bad storms predicted, but it's gone now. It burned down, which seems, I'm not gonna like read anything into it. It was just a very sweet building that I enjoyed looking at when I was driving in the middle of nowhere. So it's not, not a big deal. But it's gone now. So I'm glad that I painted it. I'm glad that I engaged with it while it was there. I am just going to, sometimes if I feel like I'm just trying to fill space, I will get out, I have like a whole drawer full of washi tape, and I will just get out some washi and start laying it down. It's a fun way to add like patterns or certain colors that you want to incorporate. But also it makes me feel like less like I'm just filling space with whatever. It at least adds some pizzazz. I'm also not super precise with the washi tape because that's just not who I am as a person. Again, this is all about letting go of that inner critic voice and like moving past that. and loving ourselves a little bit more, showing ourselves some gentleness, some kindness, and yeah, just like being okay with showing up as we are and not holding ourselves to impossible standards. And I think that is one thing that I think is very important. You know what? I wonder if that would fit. Not really. This is another Journal is Altar stamp. It is a candle. It says lighting a candle for, and you can like write something in. It is one that I absolutely love because obviously there's a lot going on in the world that makes it kind of difficult to show up full-heartedly some days. And so I think that honoring that part of ourselves is really powerful. Again, go check out Journal is Altar. They have a lot of great content, and specifically like work in the realm of showing up to hold space for yourself in your journal so that you don't like numb out to the world and all of the things going on. Because, you know, there's a lot that we can give over to grief about, or we can keep working for a better world. And I think that that's important. Little scrap here. So again, I'm just filling in space now. I would like to do, at some point, I would like to do a, like an Ask Me or like a Q&A video. So if you guys have any questions journaling wise or about me or about any of the topics that I cover sometimes, like sobriety, mental health, things like that. If you have any questions that you'd like to hear me speak on, please leave them in the comments and I'll start compiling a list, and that can be a fun video. If you have any specific requests of what you would like to see, please let me know that as well. I love doing journal with me's, but sometimes I feel like it can be a little repetitive when I'm not to the place where I'm ready to share a flip through of a specific journal. And I'm kind of like in that in-between space right now. But I really love doing videos and would like to show up in whatever way works best for you guys. I have another sticker here and I can't seem to get it peeled. I know they have like tweezers for peeling stickers, and I just don't know how people do that. There we go. It looks like a little picture of like lavender lemonade or something. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. I had it once when we lived in Cincinnati, and let me tell you, I've never been able to find lavender lemonade again, and I've tried to make it and it is just not the same. So I am just gonna add some. I am a maximalist when it comes to my journals. So I am gonna add some more because that is what I like to look at in my pages. The good news is that I am over halfway done with this Traveler's Notebook insert. And when it is all done, I will be sharing a flip through. So like I said, drop some questions in the comments that you would like to hear me answer. Shop is 33% off. Prompts and tarot readings on Patreon and in my Etsy shop. And engage with me on Substack, Instagram, here on YouTube, whatever. Hit the subscribe button if you want to, if you feel called to. And I appreciate you guys so much. Connecting with you is one of the favorite parts of my journaling practice, and I hope that you guys get to do some journaling today. Have a good one.